After breaking down the Mini Scout's pros and cons, I figured I'd follow that up by showing my go-to Mini Scout builds and the reasons I actually run them. This is my go-to build, and overall, I feel like it's the most versatile build that I utilize. The 6x scope along with the 4x zoom allows me to get a little closer to engagement ranges and play that 20 to 100 meter range really well. The suppressor keeps me off the minimap, while the extended barrel allows me to have 1100 meter per second muzzle velocity, which leads to easier follow-up shots or hitting long-range shots a little bit easier. Overall, I feel like the stubby grip is the absolute selection here, while everything else you could argue is personal preference. The only one that I would really pick outside of this would be the 15-point angled grip, but there's not really enough points left to select it. While the 5-point angle grip impacts your ADS accuracy while moving, it's not something that I'm willing to give up. I feel like the bipods are far more of a specific scenario kind of thing. If you find yourself sitting at the edge of the map and doing long-range sniping, that's probably where they come in handy. Outside of that, I don't really see the purpose. I personally go with the 15-round magazine because it means less reloading and more pressure that I can put on the enemy. When it comes to the penetration ammunition, I selected over standard ammunition for 2 reasons. 1, because it's the same points as the standard ammunition, but 2, an issue I kept having with standard ammunition was if I shot through a teammate, if they walked in front of me, or if I shot through an enemy and hit another enemy in the head, I wouldn't get the headshot kill for some reason. So with penetration rounds, I haven't noticed that problem. The downside to this is that it does increase recoil. However, I haven't noticed much of a difference. If we were talking about the pre-nerfed Mini Scout where the rate of fire was higher, yes, I think there probably would have been a bit of a difference at that point. But with the rate of fire being as low as it is, I find it still really easy to line up shots as the next round is ready to be fired. Now, the 2 biggest personal preferences here are the scope and the optic accessory. Personally, I go with the 4x magnification zoom. Now, it might not make much sense as I'm using a 6x, so there's not much of a difference between 6x magnification and 4. However, when I'm up close and I'm 15 to 25 meters away from the enemy, going to 4x magnification allows me to pick up on enemies a little faster and get shots off a little more accurately and a little quicker. If I don't feel like I'm going to be in those kind of engagements on a particular map, then I'll either run anti-glare or I'll swap that out for either the red laser or the green laser. Now, when it comes to the sights, I stick with the SSDS. This is the second 6x that's available. I feel like this is the best all-around scope to use in most engagements on the maps that exist for this game because it allows you to still do really well at medium range and then still be able to reach out and shoot people, see them pretty easily from 200, 300, 400 meters away. Depending on my mood and the map, I might swap the 6x out for the first 8x. Now, from what I've seen, other people's suggestions, they don't recommend this 8x. I disagree with that. Now, I plan on making a future video about why I disagree with that, because there's a particular aspect to this site that I think is super helpful, especially once we start getting larger maps. Now, I have a build set up for the more aggressive players. I haven't used this build. However, I feel like this thing would work really well if you are playing uber aggressively. This one has the 10-round fast magazine. Still have the penetration ammo, still have the stubby grip. I go with the 4.5x sight, but you could go with something different. And then I utilize the CQB suppressor, the short barrel, and the green laser. The downside of this is because of the short barrel, the muzzle velocity is only 700 meters per second, which will make it much more difficult to reach out and kill people that are 200-300 meters away, especially if they're on the move. Granted, if you're utilizing this build to be aggressive, you're probably not worrying about those people that are at that range, so it's not much of a downside. Anyway, those are the builds that I rely on, and the aggressive one that I recommend trying if you're more into that sort of thing. Be sure to let me know down in the comments below what your go-to build is. Hit that like and subscribe button. I'll catch you on the next one. RAMTEID up.